2 decades since the turn of the century, the dot-com bubble and the Twin Towers. And just a touch over a decade since the great financial crisis, we've seen the world continue to hurtle toward disaster, economically, morally, socially, and structurally. All the while, catastrophe has been kept at bay via the counterbalancing forces of innovation, production, and free speech. 2020 now ushers in the new decade, along with a timely reminder of how precarious things actually are beneath the surface. The kicking of the proverbial can down the road, the incessant hiding of risk, the welfarization of the economy, the unprecedented levels of monetary expansion, the censorship of speech, group identity politics, the introduction of dangerous and draconian mandates for, quote, safety, have all but hollowed out society and made it more fragile than it ever was. We are reminded of how thinly veiled the freedom and stability of our modern societies truly are. But there is hope. We understand darkness because we've seen the light. We know hot because we've felt the cold. We can call out tyranny because we've experienced freedom. And we know right because we've all done some wrong. So long as we're not beyond the event horizon, we exist in a realm where reality is duality. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And it should come as no surprise that the creation and proliferation of the ultimate tool of personal sovereignty and liberty is happening alongside the rise of the ultimate collectivist techno-dystopia. There's never an evil, large or dark enough to be all-encompassing. Humans have always risen to the occasion, and this time, it's no different. The darker the night, the brighter the day. The more suffocating the oppression, the more powerful the spirit of freedom. The more fearsome the enemy, the greater the hero. Satoshi is that hero, and we are all Satoshi. In the chapter of history now being written, Satoshi is the modern-day Prometheus, who stole fire from the arrogant, self-proclaimed gods of the modern world and gave it back to the people. He planted Bitcoin in 2008, giving us a decade to learn to use it and set the foundation. That prescience is awe-inspiring, and legends will be told of it in the centuries to come. Bitcoin has become the light that will carry us through the hardest of times, and it could not have arrived at a more appropriate time. 2020 accelerated every draconian state agenda the few more prudent of us have been warning or rambling on about for years. CBDCs that give central authorities complete control over what you can and cannot earn, what you can and cannot spend your money on, and how much they will pilfer from your accounts. An all-out war on privacy, encryption, and free speech. Heavy regulation of opinions and discussions across both online and offline mediums. Complete control of the media and the mainstream narrative. Ignorance, hypocrisy, and fear have truly consumed the masses. But in Bitcoin, we find the ultimate counterbalancing forces of truth, consistency, and reliability. The contrast is as stark as it can be, which is why I give thanks to Satoshi. He birthed something that is tied to the very substructure of reality. Something that lives at the nexus of chaos and order, embodies the flow of entropy into structure, and clarifies how we understand time, energy, and objective truth with a capital T. Whilst the sovereignty of the individual and the nature of truth is being decimated from the top down by governments, media, and the intelligentsia of the old world, a tool for ultimate individual sovereignty and pure objective truth emerges from the bottom up for a new world. Like a modern-day Moses coming down from atop the mountain, Satoshi delivered the white paper to the world on October 31st of 2008 and subsequently changed everything. There has likely not been a more transformational time to be alive, and whilst the decade ahead will surely come with a serious set of challenges and the continued erosion of natural law, logic, truth, private property, and freedoms, We should all take a moment to be deeply grateful for the introduction of an ark upon which we can board and from which we can later rebuild. This fire, immune from darkness, will illuminate all that is. People will see it from every corner of the world. They will be drawn to its brilliance. They will come to it because it will shine brightest where and when it is darkest. Bitcoin is the fire. Satoshi was Prometheus. He took it back and passed it on to us. What we do with it now is up to you and I.